Good day to everyone. Let us talk about the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. At the end of this discussion, we should be able to acquaint yourself in the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. Observe the practice, the different provisions, and also utilize the values stipulated in the Code of Ethics. We are here the Group 1 presenters. Sir Belacora, Sir Gomez, Amores, Beñadora, Cruz, De La Peña, Galicia, Gondemaro, Lianes, and Santiago. Let's move on to the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. We have the 13 articles, but we only discuss only the 4 articles. The Preamble. Article 1, Scope and Limitation. Article 2, the Teacher and the State. Article 3, the Teacher and the Community. Article 4, the Teacher and the Profession. Okay, let's move on. Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. Pursuant to the provision of Paragraph E, Article 11 of Republic Act Number 7836, otherwise known as the Philippine Professionalization Act of 1994, and Paragraph A, Section 6, Presidential Decree Number 223 as amended, the Board for Professional Teachers hereby adopt the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. Preamble. The teachers are duly licensed professional who possess dignity and reputation with high moral values, as well as technical and professional competence in the practice of their noble profession. They strictly adhere to observe and practice the set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. Here in Preamble, dapat daw ang teachers are licensed professionals, and alam naman natin na they have a lots of values na nire-require ng teacher. So, dapat pag teacher ka, may dignidad ka. Dapat pag teacher ka, pangalagaan mo yung reputasyon mo. And they are the professional competence. And alam naman natin, ang teacher is a noble professions, and they strictly adhere to observe and practice the set of ethical values and the principles.
Okay, let's proceed to Article 1, Scope and Limitation. Section 1. The Philippine Constitution provides that all educational institutions shall offer a quality education for all competent teachers committed to its full realization. The provision of this code shall apply, therefore, to all teachers in school in the Philippines. Nakasaad po dito na dapat ang isang guro ay isang kwalipikado o may kakayahan na gampanan ng isang pagiging guro. May kakayahang magbigay na isang quality or dekalidad na edukasyon sa isang estudyante. Kaya makipagkompetensya ng isang guro sa anumang estado ng aktibidad. Halimbawa tayo bilang isang magiging teacher, soon to be teacher. Dapat nakapagbigay tayo ng mga bagong ideya at nasasagot natin ang curiosity ng mga estudyante. Kumbaga po dito sa Section 1, dapat ang isang guro ay isang competent or degree holder siya para magkaroon siya ng kakayahang magbigay ng kalidad na edukasyon sa isang estudyante.
This code covers all public and private schools, teachers in all educational institutions at the preschool, primary, elementary, and secondary levels, whether academic, vocational, special, technical, or non-formal. The term teacher shall include industrial arts or vocational teachers and all other persons performing supervisory and or administrative functions in all schools at the aforesaid levels, whether on full-time or part-time basis. So here, Article 1, Section 2. This code, whether academic, vocational, special, technical, preschool, primary, elementary, secondary levels, academic, vocational, special, technical, or non-formal, the term teacher shall include industrial arts or vocational teacher, whether it is full-time or part-time basis. So, every teacher shall have full-time or part-time basis. So, every teacher shall uphold the highest possible standards of quality in education, including industrial arts and vocational services to all students. As a teacher, we must have a good characteristics and also have a good communication skills. We are responsible to listen, have a long patience, and having effective teaching characteristics. It is so very important that we have values that our students should emulate and always remember. Being a teacher is not just a teacher. We have a responsibility that we must do. We are viewed as a second parent of our students who should teach them the right path and be a good example or role model for them. So here is the example of Article 1, Section 2. Teacher must sociable and easy to talk to, patient and resourceful, must good in problem solving, capable of motivating and inspiring students, organized and careful about time management, and last but not the least, devoted to service and education. That's all. Thank you.
Let's proceed to the Q&A. Question. Traditionally, a civic parade is held with schools participating during Independence Day. All teachers and students are required to attend. All of Mrs. Sevilla's students are excited to join the said parade, but she did not let them join due to personal reason and only asked the president of the class to check the attendance of his classmate. Is the decision of Mrs. Sevilla's right? Okay, let's reveal the answer. The answer is no, because according to Article 2, Section 1, no, because she is a trustee of a cultural and educational heritage of the nation and is under obligation to transmit to learners such heritage. Okay, let's move on to the Article 2, the teacher and the state. Section 1. The school are the nurseries of the future citizens of the state. Each teacher is a trustee of the cultural and educational heritage of the nation and is under obligation to transmit to learners such heritage as well as to elevate national morality, promote national pride, cultivate love of country, instill allegiance to the Constitution, and for all duly constituted authorities, and promote obedience to the law of the state. So, ang paaralan daw ay binubuo ng mga teachers ang mga kagawaran nito. At ang nursery, sila ay pwede natin ihambing sa halaman or the plants that we need to grow. We need to nurture their knowledge. We need to nurture their values. And as we teacher, we need to guide them na lumaki silang maging isang mabuting mamamayan at maturo natin sa kanila ang pagmamahal sa sariling bansa. At higit sa lahat, dapat matransmit natin sa kanila yung heritage. Like, for example, yung history of our country. Diba? Nakatanggap tayo ng Independence Day sa kamay ng ibang mga mananakop sa atin. Pero, diba? As of this, tinuturo natin sa kanila kung paano tayo naging malayang bansa. Tinuturo natin sa kanila yung history natin. Diba? At higit sa lahat, as we teacher, tinuturo natin kung paano natin respetuhin ang ating bansa, respetuhin ang pagkanta ng lupang hinirang sa the way na dapat kapag kakanta ka, dapat hihinto ka. Dapat kapag nakadinig ka ng kanta ng Lupang Hinirang, nire-respeto mo to sa pamamagitan ng pagtayo mo. Di ba sa mga mall may ganon? Tinuturo nila na pag pinatugtog to, minsan nangyayari yan kapag Monday and opening of the store ng mall. Pag pinatugtog yan, Lupang Hinirang na yan, umi-stop yung mga empleyado. Yun, we as a Filipino, ganun tayo. At sa school naman, kung babalikan natin, sa school kasi, tinuturo natin sa mga estudyante, paano tayo umawit ng Lupang Hinirang with respect. Ayun po. Tinuturo natin sa estudyante natin yung pagiging moralidad. Ibig sabihin, kumbaga, dapat ituro natin yung value sa kanila. Paano sila lumaking tama? Paano sila lumaki isang maging mabuting mamamayan? Tayo nag-guide sa kanila. Kasi, syempre, as a future citizens, yung mga nursery, sila yung future citizens natin. So, kung maganda yung pundasyon natin, at lalaki rin sila na may magandang pundasyon. Yun po. Just for example, diba? Sa school, kung ang isang bata ay magaling o kumbaga honor siya, ibig sabihin magaling yung turo sa kanya, magaling yung impluwensya, magaling yung mga impluwensyang nasasagap niya sa ibang tao. Kung ang isang bata ay lumaking mabuti, ibig sabihin naging siya, magalang. So ibig sabihin, dapat we as a teacher, gumawa tayo ng tama para ma-impluwensyahan natin ng maayos yung bata. At higit sa lahat, tinuturuan natin sila paano mag-obey sa laws, paano sumunod sa batas. Yun po. Maraming salamat. Okay, let's proceed to the Q&A. Question. Tama bang i-encourage ni teacher na huwag sundin ang batas ng eskwelahan? Tama po ba yun? The answer is no, because she violated Article 2, Section 2. Okay, let's move on to the Article 2, Section 2. Every teacher or school official shall actively help carry out the declared policies of the state and shall take an oath to this effect. As a teacher, we are more capable to influence our students, our pupils, to abide the rules and regulations, guidelines, and policies that implemented by the state. So, kung may batas sa Pilipinas, you are a teacher na dapat ikaw mismo yung unang susunod sa batas na yon. You should act to follow the rules. Carry out the declared policies. You are the one who motivated and persuading na sundin yung batas na yon. Hindi yung ikaw mismo yung hindi susunod. Kung hindi natin susundin yung batas na yon, binabiolate na natin yung Article 2, Section 2. Siyempre, di ba, ang teacher, napaka-influence niya talaga sa students. So, if we follow the rules or we follow the ethical personalities, we should do the right thing. We influence our students in the good thing na madadala nila sa paglaki nila or habang sila ay nabubuhay na dapat sundin nila yung tamang batas na pinapatupad, diba? Ayun po. So, we are the teacher who is the role model. So, we should follow the rules. Yun po. Let's move on to the Q&A. Question. What provision in the Code of Ethical Standard does sickly Miss Miranda violate when she goes to school, even late and not feeling well? A. Every teacher must sincerely believe in the endeavor to help carry out the declared policies of the state. Letter B. Teacher may vote and exercise their constitutional rights but may not use her position to influence other people. Letter C. Every teacher must be physically, mentally, and morally fit to teach. The correct answer is letter C. Every teacher must be physically, mentally, and morally fit to teach. This is related to Article 2, Section 3. Okay, let's move on to the Section 3. In the interest of the state, of the Filipino people, as much as of his own, every teacher shall be physically, mentally, and morally fit. So, definitely alam naman natin na kapag ikaw teacher ka at mag-apply ka, lalo na sa mga DepEd na paaralan, sa public, they should need or undergo the neuro exams. Kailangan nilang malaman kung mentally fit ka ba. And also, meron ding mga medical exam para ma-check nila if you are physically fit. Ayun po. So, as a teacher, we need to be physically, mentally, and morally fit. Diba? Siyempre, paano natin magagampanan yung ating mga roles sa ating mga responsibilities towards our students, towards our co-teacher, towards our pupils, towards din sa our parents, diba? Parents in the community, kung hindi tayo fit. So, minsan sinasabi nila, bawal daw magkasakit yung teacher. Pero depends sa diba? Kaya, kapag ikaw, teacher ka, may sakit ka, at pumasok ka sa school nang may sakit ka, bina-violate mo na yung Article 2, Section 3. Kasi, bawal kang pumasok. Kasi dapat ang teacher ay physically fit. Ayun po yun. Maraming salamat. Let's move on to the Q&A. Tama bang unahin ng guro ang pansariling lakad sa oras ng klase? The answer is no because she violated Article 2, Section 4.
Article number 2, the teacher and the state. Section 4. Every teacher shall possess and actualize a full commitment and devotion to duty. Example: teacher must commit to connecting with challenging students on a personal level. Once the trust in the relationship has been established, which may take significant time, academic progress can begin to be made.
There's another question here. Question: tama ba na mag-solicit o mangolekta ng pera si teacher sa mga magulang para sa pagpapapintura ng kanilang room? The answer is no because she violated Article 2, Section 5.
Section 5. A teacher shall not engage in the promotion of any political, religious, or other partisan interests and shall not directly or indirectly solicit, require, collect, or receive any money or service or other valuable material from any person or entity for such purposes. Teacher that engaging in fundraising in his personal capacity is also prohibited from using his official title, position, or authority. In addition, he cannot solicit funds or other support from a student or from any person that has business with his component.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Now let's proceed to Section 6. Every teacher shall vote and exercise all other constitutional rights and responsibility. Teacher rights such as teacher academic freedom, teacher freedom of expression, teacher freedom from discrimination, and teacher privacy rights. The teacher freedom from discrimination is a law that provides that it is an unlawful employment practice for any employer to discriminate against an individual based on their race, color, religion, sex, and lastly, the origin of the individual. Now, teacher privacy rights. Teachers enjoys limited rights to to personal privacy. No courts will often support disciplinary action taken by a school district when a teacher private life affects the integrity of the school district and the effectiveness by which a teacher can teach. For example, pag yung personal life ni teacher ay nakakaapekto na sa kanyang kakayahan na pagtuturo, doon lamang po may apply to. For example, may kabit si teacher, then naapektuhan yung pangalan ng school at yung kanyang effectiveness sa pagtuturo. Yan po.
Okay, let's proceed to the Q&A. Question. Being a person known for his integrity and credibility, Mr. Alberto R. Tolentino has been serving as part of the Board of Election Canvassers for the past 10 years. However, in the coming elections, his mother will be running as barangay captain. Because of he is asked to campaign for her. Is it alright for him to campaign for his mother's candidacy? Tama po ba yun na mag-campaign siya for her mother? For his mother? The answer is no, because he violated Article 2, Section 5.
Section 7. Teacher shall not use his position or facial authority or influence towards any other person to follow any political course of action. First, let's define the meaning of course of action. It is any sequence of activities that an individual or unit may follow or a possible plan open to an individual. This section means that a teacher should not use her position to force students to follow. Example situation. Your English teacher is a supporter of BBM, then most of the time may sisingit niya ang topic about kay BBM sa kalagitnaan ng kanyang discussion, then sisiraan ng ibang candidate. For me, it is a form of brainwashing people, especially sa pupils. Teachers influence students in many ways, but as far as issue not having to do with the actual curriculum, but issues deal with personal choices. Gaya nga po ng nabanggit sa example. Because hindi na po role ng teacher na banggitin yung kanyang perspective about sa politika. Then, Section 8. Every teacher shall enjoy academic freedom and shall have privilege of expounding the product of his researches and investigations, provided that if the results are inimical to the declared policies of the state, they shall be brought to the proper authorities for appropriate remedial action. Inimical which makakaharm sa policies na inilagay. May kalayaan na ituro ng teacher ko ano man ang gusto niyang i-discuss, pero dapat ay hindi magiging contrast sa declared policies. Yun lamang po. Okay, please proceed to the next reporter. Thank you.
Article 3, the teacher and the community. Section 1, a teacher is a facilitator of learning and of the development of the youth. He shall therefore render the best service by providing an environment conducive to such learning and growth. Here in Article 3, Section 1, it explains na dapat yung mga teachers is ibigay or maibigay nila yung best service at pinakamahusay and effective na service nila ng pagtuturo sa mga young learners. Of course, for them to have a meaningful and successful learning and growth. And sa growth naman, not only in terms of academic, but also on how they will excel in life. That's why it says here na ang teachers is nagsiserve as guide are the facilitators in learning and also sa development ng mga young learners. There's a question here. Teachers are tasked with so many things to do aside from teaching. Sometimes this does adversely affect their teaching. Does this mean that teachers should be only preoccupied with teaching? A. Yes, if they are given other assignments, justice demands that they be properly compensated. Letter B. No, because every teacher is expected to provide leadership and initiative in activities for betterment of communities. Letter C. Yes, because teaching is a full-time job. So, what do you guys will be the answer here in this question? So, let's reveal the answer. The answer is no, because every teacher is expected to provide a leadership and initiative in activities for the betterment of the communities. Next is section 2. Every teacher shall provide leadership and initiative to actively participate in community movements for moral, social, educational, economic, and civic betterment. It means here in section 2, sinasabi na the teachers, they must provide a good leadership since they serve as the local parentis or another parent sa mga young learners, because they're not only teaching or giving paperworks and exams, but also they affect the students' life in a good way. For example, they are also teaching them the important life lesson and to guide them on kung paano mag-succeed in life. And also very important then for teachers yung pagkakaroon ng good relationship within the community, especially sa mga students and parents. The section 3. Every teacher shall merit reasonable social recognition, for which purpose he shall behave with honor and dignity at all times, and refrain from such activities as gambling, smoking, drunkenness, and other excesses, much less illicit relations. Since, diba, sinasabi nga na ang mga teacher serves as another parent or role model not only in students but in everyone. So, they must have a social recognition or yung meaningful relationship with others na dapat they act with dignity and honor at all times, because ang teacher, sabi nga na wherever they go, teacher pa rin sila. What I mean is, nandun na yung thinking ng mga tao na they live with dignity, ganon. So, they must not doing inappropriate things or activities like sabi nga dito na smoking, drunkenness, yung gambling or yung pagsusugal, and yung illicit relationship. When we say illicit relationship, it is not allowed by law or it is against by the law. For example, ng illicit relationship, when a teacher has a relationship with a student. One of the example in illicit relationship is the Evelyn Chua case. Evelyn Chua was a teacher and Bobby Kua is her student. Bobby Kua was 6th grade during that time, and after class nagkakaroon sila ng one-on-one class like in remedial ganon. Yun nga, Evelyn Chua was a 30-year-old that time, which she and her student Bobby Kua, a 16-year-old student, fell in love, and later on they got married on December 1975 in a civil wedding. Nakasal sila with the consent of his mother, Mrs. Ong, and after that, January 1976, they got married in church. noong February 1976, yung employer ni Evelyn Chua, which is the Taytong High School, nag-file sila sa Department of Labor para ma-terminate na si Evelyn Chua because of the abusive and unethical conduct unbecoming of a dignified school teacher. And after that, she was suspended without pay noong March 6, 1976. And September the same year, yung executive labor arbiter, sinabi nila na even though there's walang enough na evidence for her immoral act, parang it's still enough to think and to say na ginawa niya yung isang bagay na yon. And October the same year, Evelyn Chua appealed sa National Labor Relations Commission na she did nothing immoral or abusive act. And yung National Labor Relations Commissions, ni-reverse nila yung sinabi ng National Labor Arbiter na decision noong December 1975 na there's nothing wrong immoral between a boy and a girl na nagkaklase with lights on and door open. And after that, nabigyan na siya ng salary for 6 months for financial assistance. And to make it short nga, ang nangyari, at the end, sinabi ng court na kung yung pagpapakasal nila is hindi pumasok doon sa societal pattern, they cannot consider it as a defiance of contemporary social mores or yung pagsuway o paglabag sa nakasanayan at nakaugalian ng isang society. And they added pa na if they really fell in love despite on their age and their academic levels, so ang ibig sabihin lang nun is they really love each other or their hearts as a reason of its own, which reason does not know. And lastly, after sabihin yun ng court, yung Taytong High School, they were ordered to pay Evelyn Chua ng equivalent ng 3 years ng service niya without any deduction and separate pa nun yung ibabayad sa kanya na amount of 1 month pay for every year of service niya. And ayun nga, here in section 3, teachers, they must not doing those kind of inappropriate things dahil pwedeng ma-adapt yun ng mga taong nakakakita sa kanya, especially those students na seeing them as a good example or as a good role model.
Let's move on to the Q&A. Question: maaari po bang pilitin ng isang guro ang kanyang estudyanteng Muslim na tanggalin ang headdress nito? The answer is no. Dahil he violated the Article 3, Section 4.
Okay. My name is Mary Chris Arian Embanadora and I'm going to report this Article 3, Section 4 and Section 5. Where Article 3, Section 4 says the teacher and the community. Every teacher shall live for and with community and shall, therefore, study and understand local customs and traditions in order to have sympathetic attitude. Therefore, refrain from disparaging the community. But first, what is the meaning of sympathetic attitude? Sympathetic attitude, it is showing sympathy to the people in one place. Something like putting your shoes into other shoes, just to make you understand what they felt. For example, teacher May had to attend seminar in Benguet for 2 days and 1 night. And she need to socialize with the people of Benguet. But first, she need to know first their culture, because in article it says study first what culture and tradition that community had. in order for us to understand them and simply putting our shoes into them. And it helps us also to avoid disparaging that community. And disparaging means it is expressing a low opinion. In Tagalog, disparaging is pagkaalis. Article 3, Section 5. It says, every teacher shall help the school to keep the people in the community informed about the school's work and accomplishment as well as its needs and problem. Example, Miss Noemi announced that there's no online class for the whole day because the faculty members are going to hold a meeting for the preparation of face-to-face. Here in Section 5, the helper of the school to keep the people in the community informed about the school works and accomplishment is the teachers.
So let's continue. Article 3, Section 6. Every teacher is intellectual leader in the community, especially in barangay, and shall welcome the opportunity to provide such leadership when needed, to extend counseling services appropriate, and to actively involve in matters affecting the welfare of the people. So, sabi dito, yung mga teachers daw is intellectual leader ng isang community. So, nagiging, especially dun daw, especially sa barangay, and dapat wini-welcome nila yung opportunity na magbigay ng isang leadership dun sa isang community wherein pwede silang magkaroon ng mga counseling services, and also pwede rin silang magkaroon ng project about planting trees, and pwede rin, kung napapansin niyo sa botohan, ginaganap yung botohan din sa school, and yung mga teacher, yung mga teachers din yung may mga guide ng mga voters. So we have a question here. So Miss Reyes is a new teacher like you. During her first few weeks in school, she felt like quitting teaching. At the end of the day, she is totally burned out. If you were in her place, from whom will you ask assistance? A, from the pupils, B, from the parents, C, from the co-teachers. So if you experience this, yun na-experience ni Miss Reyes, pwede kang magtanong sa co-teacher mo. So the answer is from your co-teacher. So, pwede kang magtanong sa kanila kasi since parehas kayo ng profession, parehas kayo ng naging experience, so she can maybe give you an advice din sa problema kinakaharap mo, and pwede yung co-teachers na pagtatanungan mo is pwede siyang maging way para masolusyonan kahit paano yung problemang na pinagdadaanan mo ngayon. Section 7. Every teacher shall maintain harmonious and pleasant personal and official relation with other professionals, with government officials, and with people, individually or collectively. So, every teacher shall maintain. So, dapat yung mga teacher is ma-maintain nila yung harmonious and pleasant personality nila. Kahit hindi man sa mga government official or sa mga taong may mga profession, kahit din sa mga estudyante nila or kung sino man yung makakasalubong nila, example, dapat pinapakita pa rin nila yung harmonious and pleasant nilang ang pag-uugali. Dapat na-maintain mo yun as a teacher because you're a role model of your student. So, we have a question here. Tama po ba na sabihin ng teacher na kailangan namin lumipat sa relihiyon nila? So, proselyting yan. And the answer is no. So, here in Section 8, a teacher possesses freedom to attend church and worship as appropriate but shall not use his position and influence proselyte others. So, you as a teacher, you have a freedom to attend church or worship as appropriate, but you can't use or you should not use your position to influence others to convert in another religion, or sabihin na natin na you as a teacher, dapat hindi mo gagamitin yung posisyon mo para i-kumbinsihin yung estudyante mo na lumipat sa relihiyon mo. Kasi, first of all, you're a teacher. You should fair. Wala kang, wala kang, hindi ka bias sa kung ano man, and you respect every beliefs and religion na meron yung estudyante mo. So, the answer is no. And that's all for Article 3. Thank you.
Good day, sir. Good day, everyone. So, I am Julian de la Peña, and together with Mr. Louis Belacora, we will be discussing the Article 4, a teacher and the profession, or simply the relationship between the teacher and the teaching profession, no? Section 1 to 5. So before we proceed to the section 1, I have a question here. So, do you regard teaching as the noblest profession? So, Section 1 states that every teacher shall actively ensure that teaching is the noblest profession and shall manifest genuine enthusiasm and pride in teaching as a noble calling. So most of us probably knows that teaching isn't a very profitable job. So if you're looking for a career na magpapayaman sa'yo, so maybe teaching isn't for you. But if that is the case, bakit kaya marami pa rin tao na gustong magturo, yung pinipiling magturo? And why does teaching is called the noblest profession? So, teaching is called the noblest profession because it is the mother of all professions. So in short, it makes other professions, So maging doctor man yan, lawyer or engineer, they were all undergone through the teacher's guidance. Sabi nga ng iba, saan man daw makarating yung isang tao, meron teacher na nasa likod ng kanilang growth and success. So, teaching is a noble profession because of its posture to transform the students or the learners to become useful to themselves and to the society at large, So, si teacher, they carry this responsibility weighted with social purpose, Yung responsibility to nourish the people's mind with knowledge, with utmost dedication, with sincerity, honesty, and integrity, And si teacher, pinapakita niya kay student yung mga unlimited capabilities that they possess. So, iyon si teacher, But despite all of this, si teacher po is hindi yumayaman sa pagtuturo. So, baka yung ibang professions nakabili na ng, halimbawa, ibang professionals like the engineers, alam naman natin na medyo malaki-laki yung mga sinasahod nila. Baka nakabili na sila ng mga bahay at lupa. Pero si teacher is kahit lupa sa paso, wala pa. But instead, ano ba yung nakukuha ni teacher? Well, they get little remuneration, Nakakuha sila ng mga little remunerations, a little incentives, and some appreciation. So, yun yung mga nakukuha ni teacher. Pero si teacher, nagtuturo pa rin. Gusto pa rin niyang magturo. So, bakit, It's because for them, teaching is their noble calling, A vocation or their passions, So, teachers think that it is a privilege for them to take pleasures, to offer services to humanity in the society at large. So, yung teaching po is a noble profession because of the nature of the services that they render to the society. So, therefore, si teacher po is a nation builder. So, they are the builder of the society. And as for that reason po that si teacher, she should be proud on their chosen professions, They should take pride on being called an educator because we have the luxury of educating the young minds and be part of building this society. And sinasabi rin po sa may article na ito ay sa section na ito that si teacher shall manifest genuine enthusiasm, So as a teacher, dapat ipakita mo kay learners that you love what you were doing, You should show them your love for learning. And dapat ipakita mo sa kanila that you are competent and impress them with your dynamism. Because how can you inspire your students if you yourself isn't enthusiastic about what you were doing, So kailangan para ma-inspire mo sila, dapat ikaw mismo sa sarili mo, enthusiastic ka dun sa ginagawa mo. Dapat ipakita mo sa kanila na you love what you were doing. So, kasi, who knows, no? You might motivate them to become one of us, no? To become a teacher or to become someone like you. Or you can motivate them to have love for learning. So that concludes the section 1.
So let's move on. Article 4, Section 2. Every teacher shall uphold the highest possible standards of quality education, shall make the best preparation for the career of teaching, and shall be at his best at all times and in the practice of his profession.
Is, dapat daw, shall make preparations for the career of teaching, no? So, para sa akin, yung mga preparations na kailangan ihanda ni teacher is first, the mastery of subject matter or the professional knowledge, no? So, ito yung understanding natin sa subject matter, no? Na tinuturo ng mga teachers. So, kasi kailangan syempre para maituro ng maayos ni teacher yung kanyang topic or yung kanyang subject matter, dapat kabisado niya, alam niya yon kung paano niya ituturo. So, dapat meron din tayong tinatawag na pedagogy knowledge and pedagogical content knowledge. So, dapat alam natin yung subject, alam natin kung paano siya, kung ano yung pasikot-sikot niya, and alam natin kung paano siya ituturo or i-apply sa learning process ng mga students, no? So, yun po, yung para sa akin is first preparation na kailangan inihahanda ni teacher, no? And the second one is, I think, is the knowledge of the aims of education and the methods of achieving them. So, si teacher po, dapat, he must know the aims to be accomplished. So, dapat alam niya yung mga goals and yung mga dapat na ma-accomplish sa tinuturo niya, no? And the most effective methods and techniques which can best accomplish them. So, halimbawa, dapat nagsiset si teacher ng goal. Halimbawa, ang goal niya is dapat sa pagkatapos ng week na to is alam na nila ng mga learners or ni student yung pronouns or kung paano gamitin si pronouns. So, paano niya yung gagawin? Anong mga strategy or method yung pwede niyang gamitin doon? So, pwede po si teacher Q&A. Diba? So, maganda yun kasi discussion or pwede niyang tanongin yung mga student kung ano yung natutunan nila or kung ano yung mga sa pagkakaintindi nila, or pwede din naman si teacher magpa-assessment or exam, no? Para malaman niya talaga kung effective yung tinuro niya. So, malalaman ng teacher kung na-accomplish niya yung goal niya na sa linggo na to, malaman ng mga learners yung pronouns, okay? Okay po. So, and yung third po is, alam naman po natin na si teacher dapat prepared siya to have a long patience, sympathy, and love for the students, no? So, si teacher kasi dapat daw, he must have a wholesome personality. So, alam mo naman po natin na may mga learners tayo na makukulit or mga pasaway, and hindi po natin yan maiiwasan, no? Kasi iba yung mga uri ng mga estudyante na tinuturuan po ni teacher. So, diverse sila. Iba't iba sila ng personality. Pero kasi naman po si learner po is hindi natin basta-basta pwedeng bigyan ng corporal punishment. And hindi po dapat natin sila dahil nga po doon sa mga pagbabago na naganap, hindi nga din po natin sila pwedeng basta-basta na lang pahiyain or bigyan ng corporal punishment kasi madedemoralize yung motivation ni learner, no? So, kailangan po meron tayo mahabang pasensya para sa mga students natin. Kung kinakailangan po na ibigay natin yung maximum tolerance, mag-maximum tolerance po tayo. And kung naman po si student hindi nagbabago, pwede po natin siya na kausapin ng sarilinan para po hindi po siya makaramdam ng embarrassment kung ipapahiya po siya sa harap ng mga maraming tao or ng mga kapwa niya students, no? So, dapat meron tayong patience sa ating students and sympathy and love for students. So, dapat po si learner is syempre dapat po is mahalin natin sila and dapat meron tayong sympathy para sa kanila kasi at the end of the day po, tayo po ay bilang mga teacher, tayo po ay mga loco parentis or tayo yung tumatayong second parent ng mga estudyante, no? So dapat maramdaman nila na welcome sila and welcome sila sa school and yung mga teacher nila is sila yung parang tatay yung parent nila na gagabay sa kanila. So yun po yung love and sympathy, no? So that's all for the section 2. Now we will be going to the section 3 which will be discussed by me and Mr. Louis Bellacora. So the first part will be discussed by Mr. Louis. So Sir Louis, please take over po.
Okay, let's move on to the Q&A. Question. Mrs. Sherry San Jose is a new teacher in Malabon National High School. The school is scheduled to hold its reading camp on Saturday. Relatively to this activity, Mrs. Josephine Ilaya, the school principal, advised the faculty to attend her Saturday class. Is it correct to render service on a Saturday because of her studies? Okay, the answer is yes, because she is pursuing study that will improve her efficiency, enhance the prestige of the profession, and strengthen her competence, virtues, and productivity in order to be nationally competitive.
Now let's move on to the Article 4, Section 3. So every teacher shall participate in the continuing professional education or the CPE program of the Professional Regulation Commission or the PRC and shall pursue such other studies as well as to improve his efficiency, enhance the prestige of the profession, and strengthen his competence, virtues, and productivity in order to be nationally and internationally competitive. So this section we divided it into two. So the CPE and the CPD. So when you say CPE, then sabi ko, it is the continuing professional education, while the CPD, it is the continuing professional development. So but in my case, I will be discuss about the CPE. So ano nga ba yung tinatawag natin CPE? So according not to the exact definition, so CPE is the non-degree program that provides knowledge in basic professional education courses. So the CPE program includes topic and the principles of education, educational psychology, principles and techniques of teaching, as well as the measurement, evaluation, and practice in managing and monitoring student learning. So, alam naman natin before we take the LET exam na kailangan tayo ay graduate ng education or tayo ay holder ng degree pagdating sa education. And kapag tayo nag-LET ng exam at nakapasa, doon lamang tayo makakwalify na makapagturo sa mga public school. Pero may other profession or may ibang kurso na gustong makapagturo din, no? For example, ako ay graduate ng BSIT, ng accountancy, and ibang kurso. Pero biglang nagbago yung destination ng work at gusto ko magturo sa mga public school. So hindi ako direct na makakakuha ng LET exam kapag ako ay hindi qualified doon sa CPE. Kasi itong CPE, nire-require nila na dapat meron kang basic knowledge pagdating sa pagtuturo yung mga education subject na tinake ng mga education graduate. So, for you to be qualified dun sa tinatawag nating CPE, kailangan mong mag-apply, no? Doon sa PRC, wherein ito ay mayroong 18 units and nangyayari siya sa loob ng isang taon. I think it's 6 months only. At kapag yun ay naipasa at na-approve, ikaw ay qualified na sa pag-take ng LET. And kung papalarin at ikaw ay nakapasa sa LET, ikaw ay pwede na makapagturo sa elementary and high school sa mga public schools. Pero alam din natin na ang pagkatuto at ang pag-aaral ay tuloy-tuloy o tinatawag na natin lifelong, especially doon sa mga Educ graduate. Alam naman natin yan. At ang changes, sabi nga nila, changes is the only permanent thing in this world. So, nagbabago ang panahon. Siyempre, kailangan nagbabago rin yung mga strategies, yung mga techniques, yung mga methods natin pagdating sa pagtuturo. Kaya nagkaroon ng tinatawag na CPD para sa atin na i-enhance yung skill natin pagdating sa larangan nito. At yan ay di-discuss ni Miss Julianne de la Pet.
Thank you, Mr. Bilacora, for the first part. Now I will be discussing the other part of that section of the section 3, which is the teacher shall pursue such other studies as will improve his efficiency, enhance the prestige of the professions, and strengthen his competence, virtues, and productivity in order to be nationally and internationally competitive. So, as the time passes po and the world is changing, no? Educational process is also changing po into a much better, faster pace, no? And as a teacher, they should cope up with these changes. And so, as a teacher, you have the responsibility to improve yourself for the sake of your student and for the sake of self-betterment, no? Pero, a strong desire on the part of the teacher for self-improvement po is quite important. So, yung the desire for self-improvement depends on self-examination, as there will be no desire for self-improvement until there is some consciousness of the best. So, sinasabi dito na yung desire po na mag-improve is depende po kay teacher. Kasi kung pakiramdam po ni teacher or akala niya is wala pong kulang sa mga tinuturo niya, is hindi po siya makakaramdam na dapat, hindi po niya maiisip na mag-self-improve or dagdagan yung knowledge niya. So sadly po kasi meron tayong mga teacher na hindi nag-undergo ng hindi sila nagpo-pursue ng other studies, no? Or hindi sila uma-attend ng mga seminars or mga trainings na pwedeng makatulong sa kanila na ma-improve yung kanilang knowledge or mga pagtuturo. Yun, ganun po yun. So, pero kasi po, teachers po should participate in various seminars and studies, no? And the teacher training program, so, seminars, other studies, so pwede po tayong kumuha ng mga MBAs, ganyan, or PhD, or teacher training program para po ma-improve po natin yung ating knowledge as a teacher, no? So, this is to acknowledge the challenges teachers face in adopting new pedagogical approaches, no? So, ito po is magbibigay kay teacher or mag-aalaw kay teacher to fully understand the new pedagogies. And para po matest tong pedagogies na to para matest po tong pedagogy na to sa klase, although trial and error pa siya, pero habang ginagawa natin to is makukuha natin yung mastery ng mga bagong kaalaman na ito, no? So, when teachers deepen their pedagogy, sino ba yung nananalo? So, si student po, no? Kasi meron ng bagong kaalaman ng yung teacher nila. And yung school district and the communities, no? Kasi si educators po is nakakapag-contribute na ng mga bagong kaalaman kay society, especially kay learners at sa school. So, lahat po dito is panalo. Si teacher, si student, si school, and si community. Kasi nga po, maalam na si teacher. So, maituturo niya yun kay student. So, si student, makaka-contribute siya sa society, di ba? So, every educator should explore a wide range of resources to continue their education as a lifelong learner. Kasi nga po is, learning is a continuous process po, no? Pero hindi lang po siya para kay students, so para din po siya sa kay teachers, no? And there will be more knowledge to gain and ways to support all students. So ultimately, it is every educator's responsibility to focus on a path of continuous improvement, no? In order to better service the students. So that is all about my report. So that concludes the section 1 to 3, and further discussion about section 4 and 5 will be discussed by Mr. Louis Belacora. Thank you po.
Thank you, Ms. Julian de la Peña. Now, let us proceed to the Article 4, Section 4. Pero bago yun, meron din akong katanungan. So, my question is, your English teacher discussed about having fundraising to produce money and support for school representative and division competition. And it will start next month. So, in this fundraising, there are activities such as fun run, paint party, and etc. So, do you think that it is okay for the teacher to seek support from school, and why? So, in Tagalog version, meron daw si teacher ay humihingi ng tulong sa school through the use of event. Kasi merong, for example, English month. And then, kailangan ng budget doon sa mga ibibigay ng mga prizes, a certificate, and doon sa mga mananalong contestant na ilalaban sa labas, sa outside of the school. So, para makalikom daw siya ng budget, kinakailangan niya ng pagkukuhaan nito, which is yung fundraising. And mostly, naranasan na rin naman natin yan. And in my case, sa province, nangongolekta ang teacher ng pera na ipapabudget dun sa mga lumalaban sa contest through the use of fun run, yan, yung Cine for our cause, and iba pang event na pwedeng mag-produce ng pera, pero nabe-benefit din yung both students sa yung mga staff sa school. So, ang tanong dito, okay lang ba na gawin yun ng teacher? And bakit? So, for that, para masagot yan, so, we need to know kung ano yung nakaloob sa Section 4. So, Section 4 tells us, every teacher shall help if duly authorized to seek support from the school, but shall not make improper misinterpretations through personal advertisement and other questionable means. So, kung narinig nyo at naintindihan, okay lang daw na humingi sa teacher ng tulong sa school as long as yung purpose niya is hindi sa pansariling kapakanan, kundi para sa lahat, especially kung ito ay para sa students or para sa school. So, okay lang na mag-conduct siya ng mga event, ng mga fundraising, gaya ng mga banggit ko, as long as walang nalalabag dun sa rules na ipinapatupad ng mismong schools kung saan siya nagtatrabaho. So, that would be for Section 4. Now, let's move on to the Article 4, Section 5. But before we go to the main topic, meron ulit akong tanong. So, which of the following will you do if a parent of one of your failing pupils asks you to tutor her daughter in consideration of certain amount of money? So, may pera tayong pinag-uusapan, which you badly needed. So, the choices is, ano yung gagawin mo? So, letter A, direct the parent to another teacher but ask for a commission. Okay, B, accept the offer with discount. Or letter C, direct the parent to another teacher for tutoring. So, for us now to have at least a little ideas, I'm going to tackle what is Section 5 under Article 4 is trying to say to us. So, according to the Section 5, every teacher shall use the teaching profession in a manner that makes it dignified means of earning a decent living. So, sabi dito, kapag daw ikaw ay isang teacher or sabihin na nating professional teacher, kailangan mong i-consider yung job mo o yung work mo as decente sa lahat ng oras. Kumbaga, wag kang gagawa ng bagay na maaaring labagin yung karapatan o yung pagkatao ng ibang tao. At kung maaari is wag kang gagawa ng bagay na pwedeng labagin yung sarili mong pagkatao. Kasi alam naman natin that being a teacher, na it is considered as the noblest profession, gaya nga na nabanggit sa Section 1, na this profession makes other profession. So kung ikaw ay teacher, kailangan mong maging professional as much as possible na sa lahat ng pagkakataon, kasi kinukonsider tayo as role model, no? Na kapag alam naman natin yan, kahit tayo as future educator, kapag may nakikita tayong teacher, no, talagang mataas yung respeto natin sa kanila kasi sa kanila nanggagaling halos lahat ng kaalaman natin na hindi natin nakukuha sa bahay. At sa school yan nakukuha. Kaya kino-consider sila as the noblest profession. So kung ikaw ay isang teacher, iwasan mo yung mga bagay na alam mong makakasama sa tingin ng ibang tao. Kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na hasty generalization. So dito sa hasty generalization, alam naman natin na ang tao, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, sa ibang bahagi ng mundo, kapag ang hindi nila nakikita kung gaano karami yung tamang nagawa mo. So kapag ikaw ay nakagawa ng isang mali, yun yung titingnan nila. So sa hasty generalization, kung ikaw teacher, gumawa ka ng bagay na hindi ka aya-aya sa paningin ng isang tao, maaaring ma-generalize yung teacher na ganon. So sasabihin nila na, hala, teacher ka, diba? So, iisipin nila na yung ibang teacher, ginagawa rin yung bagay na yun. So, as much as possible, iwasan mo yun. Also, in addition, wag mong gagamitin yung position mo bilang teacher para mag-take advantage, especially sa mga students, yan, sa parents nila, sa community, at maging sa bansa natin. So, pwede ka maging humble, pero hindi sobrang humble. Huwag din naman sobrang mataas, yung nasa tama lang, yung nasa gitna lang. So kung mapapanood nyo yung example sa palabas dun sa Rafi Tulfo in Action na year 2016, so meron doong nagsumbong sa kanila na itong si teacher is nagpa-meeting sa mga PTA members, which is yun yung parents ng ilang students, and then nag-require sila na mag-ambag ang bawat estudyante para daw sa pagpapagawa ng pader ng school nila. So, ang nangongolekta ng pera dito is yung mismong teacher. And sabi niya is, ibibigay niya naman daw doon sa may treasurer para ibili ng gamit sa school. Sa tingin niyo, tama kaya yung ginawa ni teacher? Tama kaya na magpaambag tayo sa lahat ng estudyante? Tama ba na gamitin natin yung position natin kung may kailangan tayong ipagawa, kung may kailangan tayong bilhin? So, ang sagot is, maling-mali po. So, bilang teacher, sabi nga ng school superintendent na nagalit dun sa teacher na yun, wala daw tayong karapatan na i-require ang lahat ng estudyante. Kasi diba mostly nung elementary and high school, nararanasan natin yan nung nagpapaambag si teacher, pambili ng electric fan, pambili ng mga gamit sa school, which is hindi daw pala talaga pwede. So, ngayon, na-realize ko na mali pala talaga siya. Bawal gamitin din ni teacher yung position niya para mangolekta ng pera, especially kung siya yung nangongolekta. So, pwede siya makasuhan at talagang nilabag niya yung code of ethics doon. So, maaari lang daw na magkaroon ng ganong ambagan kung ito ay voluntary. So, hindi siya nare-record sa lahat ng student. Pwede mong sabihin na kung sino lang yung may gusto. So, doon, sa paraan na yun, hindi nila nalalabag yung Article 4, Section 5. Kasi nga sabi dito, as much as possible, that makes dignified means for earning a decent living. So, dapat nasa decenteng pamamaraan at bilang teacher, dapat tayo ay maging role model sa lahat. Dapat yung ipinapakita natin is hindi naman laging tama, pero as much as possible is pakita natin na respeto tayo sa lahat ng taong nakapaligid sa atin. And I think that that's all for the report of our group. Thank you and good afternoon.